In every shadow a secret waits, in every trail something watches. Welcome to Eerie Trails, where every path leads to darkness, and no story is just a story. Turn down the lights, and open your mind if you dare. Out near the edge of Conco County, where the mesquite trees grow thick and the radio turns to static by the time you pass the last gas station, there's a dusty road that leads to an old clapboard house surrounded by brittle grass and a sagging, barbed wire fence. It's one of those places people drive past without noticing. Or if they do, they look the other way like something's watching from behind the windows. Folks around Paint Rock don't talk about it much anymore. But if you ask the right person, someone with gray in their hair and time in their bones, they might mutter something about the Demon Wren House. Tyler Gray didn't believe in any of that. 32 years old, laid off from his oil field job in Midland, tired of couch hopping and the judgment in his mama's eyes. He wanted quiet, cheap rent, a place to figure things out without his brother pestering him to man up and get another labor gig. So when he saw the Craigslist post 3-bedroom house, $300 a month, rural, peaceful, long-term only, he didn't hesitate. The photos showed a quaint place with green shutters and a wraparound porch, a little weathered but solid. The listing said it was 15 minutes outside Paint Rock, and the owner, an old man named Hal Withers, responded fast. Tyler met Hal at a diner on the edge of town. Hal wore a brown bolo tie and his face looked like it had been carved from leather. He didn't make much small talk. "You'll need to keep the house clean," Hal said between bites of toast. "Windows shut at night. No crosses. No dogs. You pay the rent in cash, drop it in the mailbox by the road. Don't come back if you leave." Tyler blinked at him. "What was that last part?" Hal just looked at him, chewing slowly, then said, "You'll see." Tyler figured the guy was senile, or trying to scare him off so he could up the rent. Either way, $300 a month was a godsend, and if the old man wanted a few weird rules, so be it. The house was exactly as pictured. Quiet, surrounded by miles of flat Texas scrubland, sun-baked earth, the air dry as paper. Not a neighbor in sight. There was an old well out back, capped with rusted iron, and a cellar door on the side of the house with a padlock. The rooms were musty but clean, with thick curtains and old wooden floors that creaked even under Tyler's light steps. The only furniture was a warped kitchen table and a bed frame in the largest room. The first few days were uneventful. Tyler Reed made runs into town for beer and groceries, explored the fields behind the house. But on the 5th night, things started to shift. He woke up just before 3 a.m. with a pressure on his chest, like someone sitting on him. The room was freezing, the kind of cold that burned in the nose and turned breath to mist. He couldn't move for a full minute, heart pounding, eyes straining in the dark. When he finally sat up, sweat-soaked and gasping, he thought he saw something. In the corner, not a shape exactly, just a heaviness. Like the air was thicker there, watching. He chalked it up to sleep paralysis, stress, new place. Maybe bad wiring causing the chill. The next morning, he found 3 small scratches on the inside of his thigh. Faint but fresh, like a cat's claw. He didn't own a cat. 2 nights later, the scratching started out. It came from inside the walls. Long, slow drags, followed by rhythmic tapping. He checked the attic, the crawl space. No rodents, no raccoons. But the sounds continued, always starting around 2:45 a.m., always just out of reach. Then the lights began to flicker. The water from the kitchen sink would sometimes run red for a moment before turning clear. On the 7th night, he walked past the mirror in the hallway and swore he saw a second face behind his own. Gray-skinned, wide-eyed, grinning with rows of black teeth. But when he turned, no one was there. Tyler tried to leave on the 10th day, packed his duffel, started his truck. He got halfway down the road before the engine died. No cell service. No sign of passing cars. He walked the 2 miles to the gas station in 102-degree heat, only to find the attendant staring at him like he was already a ghost. "You from that house?" the man asked, pointing toward the horizon. Tyler nodded. "You shouldn't have gone. Out there. Withers tried to warn you. It don't let people leave." "What do you mean?" The attendant just shook his head and muttered, "People rent it. Ain't nobody ever makes it 6 weeks. Some go missing. Some come back wrong." Tyler walked back with a sick knot in his stomach. That night, the shadows moved on their own. The furniture scraped across the floor without being touched. A voice began whispering from the vents, low, guttural, in a language Tyler didn't recognize. It called his name over and over. One night, he opened the cellar door. He doesn't remember doing it, not clearly. Just waking up to find the lock on the floor, broken in two, and the door wide open. A rancid stench rose from below. Meat left to rot in the sun. He went down with the flashlight, hand trembling. The stairs groaned under his weight. The air grew damp and heavy. The beam of the flashlight cut through thick dust, revealing a dirt floor, and symbols carved into the walls. Circles, triangles, eyes. Something had been living down there. Something that shed black feathers and left behind bones too small to be from any animal. Tyler knew at the very back of the cellar was a door. Not wooden, not metal, stone, cold to the touch. Sealed with chains that pulsed faintly when he reached out. Something whispered behind it, not with words. Just a feeling. Hunger. Tyler fled back upstairs. Tried again to leave. This time his truck was gone. Just gone. Not stolen. Not towed. The tire marks ended 20 feet from the porch like it had vanished into the air. The mailbox was still there, empty, waiting. He stopped sleeping. The house whispered constantly. The lights never worked again. Doors opened and closed on there. Own. He started seeing things that weren't there. A little girl with her eyes stitched shut, crawling on the ceiling. A man without skin screaming in the bathroom mirror. He scratched out his own reflection in every piece of glass. By the third week, Tyler had lost track of time. The sun rose and fell but never brought warmth. He heard his mother's voice outside. The bedroom door, crying, begging him to let her in. When he opened it, there was nothing but a pile of maggots and a crucifix, burned and blackened, smoldering on the floor. The rules hell had given him echoed louder every day. No crosses. No dogs. Windows shut at night. He understood now. On the 30th day, he tried to burn the house down. Poured gasoline from the shed, lit a match, and watched the flames crawl up the walls. But the fire turned blue and froze in place like time had stopped. Then it reversed, crawling back into the can. The house sighed, and the cellar door opened on its own. Tyler was never seen again, but a new listing appeared on Craigslist 2 weeks later. 3-bedroom house, $300 month, rural, peaceful, long-term only. And Hal Withers still meets the tenants at the diner, still wearing his brown bolo tie, still saying the same thing before handing over the keys. You'll see.